Hello, friends and followers. So here's one of those little tales of woe when you buy something on eBay and it comes broken. So this is an Autotransformer. What is an Autotransformer? Well, this thing can take in 110 volts AC from your household plug, and it can change the voltage. So there's a dial on this thing, and when you turn this dial, it points to the voltage that this will change the voltage to. And so it's a handy device, and when you're working on old electronics, you don't want to feed them with the proper line voltage from your household current at first. You want to turn it down to maybe 80 volts or something. So I bought this device for that purpose on the old Central Electronics over here. It needs some help, so I don't want to feed it with line current at 125 volts. Anyway, this thing came broken, and what happened to it? Well, it came in this nice box. The box had no damage. So I think this thing was roughhoused in China when it was made. It was just made incorrectly and thrown in the box. So the first thing I noticed was when I took the knob off, took it apart, it had this gouge here, which, The other thing that bothered me was the case here was all bent in on one corner. So I tried to unbend this case and to get the case dent out of it. You can see the dent there a little bit. Yeah, there's still some right there I gotta get out, but I got most of it out. So that is a plus. I did initiate a return, and the seller said, oh, I'll give you 20 bucks back for the thing. If it doesn't work at all, I don't want it. So I actually left the guy a negative feedback. I haven't left negative feedback in years, but I thought somebody wants to have me keep junk for 20 bucks off. I think I paid like $69 for this thing, which isn't so much, I guess, but let's go into how it's constructed. So the metal here is not impressive. This is like cheap pot metal. The screws that hold it together screw into this component here, and the screws are of very low quality. I mean, that's fine. I suppose what matters is what is the integrity of the transformer itself. It looks pretty darn good, and the little brush seems to move fine. It kind of drags in one way. It kind of drags though, going one way though. You can hear it dragging. But that probably won't affect performance. The other problem I had was when I turned this thing on, it came on for a second and it quit. And I thought, well, it might have a short inside, I don't know. So I take a look at the wires here, and they all look fine, like nothing's shorted. It's made very cheaply with glue, and the glue isn't even very good glue, but it is probably fine. It's not a VARIAC, that's for sure. So here's the fuse, and I see the fuse isn't blown really, but the fuse is so cheap that the fuse itself burned a hole in itself when I turned the thing on. So there's a hole in the fuse right there where it just popped. I had never seen that happen before, so I think when I put a new fuse in this thing, it'll go. I was concerned about shorts in general, so I took this thing apart. Anyway, I probably got to send this thing back, but I really do need to use it on the radio, and I really want to get it working. So that's today's little adventure. And again, this is the inside of a cheap Autotransformer from hell. And who makes this thing? Or what's the, so somebody puts a sticker. This is made by some generic company, and they put a sticker on it called VARIAC. So there's a bunch of these sold on eBay and Amazon under different names. I ordered another one to replace this, but I almost want to cancel that order. I guess we'll see what happens to this one. Anyway, I'm going to put it back together now and see how it goes. Maybe I'll try and get that little gouge out of there and try it out. So that's my video on the VARIAC Chinese Autotransformer. But I can't bash the Chinese. They make real affordable stuff, and their quality is pretty good. So I do think this transformer part is good, and I like how they have a heatsink on the brush. That's crazy. Why is there a heatsink on the brush? They must have figured they needed it, but is there any heat transfer between the brush? Because the brush is like spring loaded. I don't know. Anyway, have a nice day and thanks for watching.